let's get started since we have little time and a lot of stuff that we wanted to do. So my name is Mike Blum. I'm the CEO of the Open Data Company, which is a joint venture between Data for Development and Zimmermann. And we have 2 years ago launched AIDA, Aid Information Data Analytics Platform, and we would like to talk with you about how we can visualize country data. So just briefly, how do I go to the next slide now? Not working. Yeah, great. Yeah, do you have to do it like this the whole time now? Anyway, this is a bit annoying. Sorry. My control is not working perfectly. So what can you expect from this session to gain insights on creating user-friendly country-level dashboards? We would really like to work together with you to get ideas and suggestions on how we can visualize the data and get a better understanding of how to drive more efficient aid practices. And yeah, now it's working. So during the members assembly in Copenhagen, there was already some thinking on how the country dashboard could look like. On the yellow sticky notes was the brainstorming. So and the thinking, of course, is that partner countries, but also other stakeholders in country, can use the IATI data for their own decision making and their own policy and aid coordination. And the current supply of the IATI tools is not yet geared 100% for this purpose. So we're hoping to use this brainstorm to get your input on how we can do this. And we have also already made some suggestions in that direction. And it's really, yeah, the IATI data can be so useful for government officials to use. So we think we would really like to enable the access. Oops, this went too fast. So what is out there right now is the country development finance data, which does already give some information based on what is available in IATI. And you can categorize by sector, reporting organization, and by country. But since the IATI data is much richer, there's more to be put together in a dashboard than what is currently in this spreadsheet-based finance data. So we would really like to focus more on connecting the dots and connecting the data together and see how we can give it a nice graphical representation. So, for example, this is just an example. What are the donors in Afghanistan by amount? And then give it, the boxes actually represent the size of a particular donor. So you immediately get some additional information on what a donor, what amount a donor represents. This is another example where you can immediately see the sectors. So it's not just a list, but it also would help you with some visualizations of the sector codes available in IATI. And also graphs for funding over the years in a particular country. This is already available on the IATI, on the AIDA platform right now. But if we would really make country portals, it can be customized even further to the needs of government officials in a country. And I'm hoping there are people who represent their countries so that we can really brainstorm this. So we also thought about what a country dashboard portal could look like. So I give the microphone to my colleague Cecilia now.
Thank you, Maike. So as Maike just mentioned, there are already a couple of tools that do visualize the data that's out there, but what we essentially want to do is to elaborate on these already existing tools and to build sort of an improved and upgraded version of what is already out there and connecting the different opportunities, essentially. So building on your input that we already got in Copenhagen, and hopefully we'll get some more now. We're looking to develop, as Mikey mentioned, a dashboard or a portal that is includes more metrics than only financial data that can be disaggregated into more relevant for you contexts. You can go back to the previous one. Thanks. And to make it possible to sort of create views that are tailored to each user. And what you can see on this slide are some of the requirements we are looking to fulfill. So we want to ensure that there's one place for you to go where you can find all your IATI data on your specific country of interest. We want to make sure that there's no double counting of financial data. Maybe this is the most crucial point for you as data users. And we will be we'll be able to ensure this by looking at the data as linked rather than adding transactions together as unique data. And this can be a bit tricky, but we're looking into using AI or machine learning to ensure that the tool or the portal really understands the IATI data. And by doing this, we can focus on funding flows rather than specific transactions. And additionally, we also want to make it an easy to understand and use tool that has good filtering functions that enables custom views. So we can move on to the next slide, please. So in order to sort of make maybe our vision come to life a little bit, we wanted to show a use case that's based on a potential scenario and sample data on how this could be useful and in which situations. So the persona we've sort of drafted is a finance officer at a Ministry of Finance in Ghana. This one happened to be active in. So we have as this person's background an officer who wants to know what aid activities take place in Ghana. And the officer would like to be able to analyze differences as well as sort of follow the actors who are involved and mostly the financial perspective here. If you move on to the next slide, please. So what you can see here is an example of how the dashboard could look once it's been the metrics and the filtering that are relevant to this person have been selected. So on this page, the finance officer will then be able to see the total investment commitments per year in the top graph. In the bottom left, the active donors in the country who are contributing either per year or whatever time period you decide. And bottom right, which sectors are the money that come into the country spent in. And next slide, please. And on this page here, some additional graphs that will show which organizations are involved in the projects that take place and that are being funded in the country. This is, you see in this example, the government organizations are making up a large part of this, but also public sector and international NGOs and multilateral organizations. It would also be possible to show a summary of the budget status for all projects, so we can consolidate all of that data and show what is the budget depletion per year currently, and what's sort of left to deplete. And the bottom graph would be able to show sort of collaboration flows and what comes in from donors, and what is sort of dispersed onto partners. But these are just examples of things that could be viewed and showed in a portal or a dashboard like this. So if you move on to the next slide, please, Maike. We are looking to get your input on this. So we're going to be dividing you up in breakout rooms, and we'll ask you to discuss and note down answers to these 3 questions. What would you need a country dashboard to show for it to be useful for you? For example, we have some examples here, but please feel free to go beyond those as well. Would you like to see networks, organization types per year, or so on? Second question is, what data do you need in your daily work? Overviews of transaction types, or so on. And thirdly, what disaggregations or filtering functions would you need in order to make the data useful for you in your current role and position? So we'll be breaking you up into rooms, and we'll be using the whiteboard and the sticky notes system to keep track of this. So hi again, everyone. Mike, would you mind sharing your screen again with the presentation?
This one, you mean?
It's a bit low, your sound, but yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. So I think we tried to do this interactively, but I don't know now where the export of that whiteboard has gone to actually. Did you get contributions, Cecilia, in your group?
Yes, somewhere. I did download them, but I can't see where they went exactly. But I can try to report back without the notes. If we go back to the slide with the questions, I think would be useful.
Yes. The slide with the questions.
Yeah. So I can just I'll start by summarizing what was said in my room, and if anyone who was there disagrees with what I'm saying, please feel free to interrupt or add on to what I'm saying. But we did have some discussions on the importance of showing was it sectors and please remind me if I'm missing something, but also organization types and so on. We had quite a lot of emphasis on the need for subnational level location sharing. That's also both something that was brought up in question 1 and 3. And yeah, as an overall important note is that this would be used for sort of traceability and effectiveness, and that IATI data is being used for planning and evidence-based decision making. Don't know if Patricia, Henry, or Josh anyone want to share any thoughts that came up during our session?
Yeah, we also mentioned for SDGs, for tracking of the SDGs.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was a great addition as well, I think, and that's something that would be really nice to have featured in a dashboard like this. Perhaps
That
we
was
can
also mentioned in our session SDG to track it, to track the projects according to SDG and give an overview. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And maybe we can move on to another room.
Yeah, in our room, there was also the mention of the development finance institutions, and if it would be possible to also include, besides just the IATI data, some other data, particularly with blended finance, based on other sources maybe, so you can also see how these type of funds would flow into a country. That was one of the suggestions. There was also something on results harmonization, if it would be possible, if there is result data in the data set, that you might be able to aggregate it somehow. We all know this is not easy because everybody reports differently in the results in IATI, but maybe, I mean, at least it could be something to explore. And by heart coding, am I missing something? You contributed quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, it's quite an advantage when most publishers, or at least we encourage the use of the OECD DAC sector categories, for example, as this can allow for comparability among different activities to kind of start that landscape analysis. However, the caveat is that not all organizations use the OECD vocabulary code list, and also as well for the regional code lists. For example, the UN can use a different regional code list. So I know this is the case with ILO, for example. So it's quite difficult to, I mean, we can't, from the Secretariat side, that's a very political decision to make, to be able to make that harmonization, or not to make that arbitrary decision in our tooling to map those regions by what the UN is using. So I mean, those are just some sticking points. I mean, if there is ever a solution, that's able to tackle something like that, that would be a pretty neat feature for sure.
Yeah. No, we're trying to, I downloaded the whiteboards from the room, but I have the same problem as you, Cecilia, that now I
Yep.
can't access them anymore. So I don't know where they went. Documents, Zoom, whiteboard. Okay.
Maybe in the meantime, Chiara, do you have anything to report back from the third room, or any participant in
There were
that
just
room?
2 groups.
Oh, there were just 2. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I wasn't aware.
Yeah, so I can't go there because I'm sharing my screen right now.
Yeah. But we'll make sure to share these whiteboards with everyone who was in the session, and probably we'll incorporate them into the slide deck that will be shared afterwards. So you'll be able to take part of all of this, what was said in the other room as well. And we want to encourage you to sort of, I see there's a question, I'll just finish my sentence, but we want to encourage you to reach out to discuss. We're more than happy to set up individual calls with you or with you and your colleagues to sort of discuss how we can take this further and make it a reality. Cody, please.
No, I just wanted to ask quickly, thank you so much for the presentation. This is really great, and an example of how innovative our community can be, for sure. I just was curious if this is live now, or if there's a methodology available that we could access.
No,
Mike.
it's not. The idea is this is a mock-up. So basically, well, AIDA has some of these visualizations already, but we would like to sort of use some of the same visualizations, but then country focused. And we would like a user group to think along with us what would be interesting for them to include in such a dashboard. And it would also be interesting to see if there is some funding available to build a first mock-up and then start sharing it. So no, it's not, AIDA is live, but this particular country dashboard is not live, because this would also be an outreach to see what is the interest and which groups, what would people like to see, so we can start building a sort of mock-up and also get some co-investment in to start creating it. That was the idea.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah, but we'll definitely share the presentation with everyone in the group, and also the input from the whiteboards once we have recovered it. It must be somewhere out there. I think for now, thank you so much. It's more difficult to participate like this. Maybe we should do it in Colombia in a live session. Probably then it's easier for people to get the sticky notes out and really, stick it on a board. Apparently digitally was a bit more difficult, but we're very willing to do this discussion again and facilitate it in a live setting, and maybe I'll present a few mock-ups based on what we gathered today. Yeah, thank you so much for your participation, and see you